Hey guys, welcome back to another speed build, and guess what we're building again? We are building a townhouse. So this is actually going to be in two different parts. This is part one, and then in part two, we're going to build this second townhouse. This is actually based off of a brownstone that actually is like a couple of blocks away from where I live. This first one. The second one's like just kind of based off nothing, but I even found it on Zillow and was able to find the floor plan. And for the main building, so the like primary floor and the floor above it, it's actually based off that floor plan. The basement level, or like the first level on the ground, is just my own, and then the second townhouse is actually going to be three different units, one on each floor. So basically this townhouse is one big townhouse, which is the primary or second floor and third floor, and then the basement slash like floor level is its own, and also has a cool like backyard. And per usual, I am using custom content. I thought about trying to build this like core game, but then I was like looking through everything. It was like, there's no way I'm gonna have the right colors for this and make it like what I want it to look like. There's a lot of different CC. I'm gonna include my list in the description below. That's just all my custom content, build content. I just use custom content in my everyday playing, so like it's weird not to use it just for a YouTube video. But I will make sure to build a couple apartments soon, or like townhouses, or just something like that that is just like core games, so then anyone can download it, especially if you're like a console player or something. And I know I've mentioned this before, but like building like multiple units is low key like super overwhelming. Like I had to take a good couple of breaks while building this just to like get my mind to wrap around like how much I actually have to build, especially when I decided to add the second building. Because first it was just gonna be this one, and I was like, this is gonna be such an empty looking lot. Even if I found a smaller lot, it would just look weird. So I do end up adding this second, and that's why there's like gonna be a part two of this video that is gonna have the second building. When I am recording this, the for rent pack is actually coming out in like a couple days, so super excited for that to happen. I'm gonna buy it probably day of. I probably won't be able to play with it till like later in the weekend though, because it is my birthday that weekend, so I need to like spend time with friends and like go out and do stuff and like have a life that's not just sitting and playing Sims. I actually have like a whole holiday work party the day it comes out, so I'm pretty upset about that, but it's okay. We'll just play it later. But till then, I'm just gonna keep building apartments and townhouses. And I think at some point I do want to build like an actual apartment complex, because so far I've really only built like duplexes and townhouses. One of the townhouses was for the shell challenge, but also I think townhouses just make more sense to me because I live in New York, as I've mentioned before, and that's where like everything is like townhouses, brownstones, and there are like actual apartment buildings, but those are usually too big to try to build in the Sims, especially when you're trying to just when you're kind of limited to only six. But in this backyard, it's actually pretty interesting. So I don't know if I'd actually want to live here because of this backyard, because the main building has like a raised part, and then the basement slash floor level has like a lowered part that like the main part can look over. It's interesting, and it's actually how I think the original building was too. But I think it's fun looking. It's different, and each person gets their own like outdoor space. But I treated the main building. We'll see once we start getting into the actual like interiors. I treated the like main apartment, the 2-floor one, as like fancy, like they own the building, and then the second one they rent out. But the second one's actually pretty cool too, because it's a bunch of platforms and it's definitely a unique layout. So the main building, so like the first, second floor or second, third floor, is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. There's 2 bathrooms on the top floor, and the main floor is just the living room, dining room, and also the kitchen. Also the door to the backyard. So just to like ramble more about for rent, so all the early access stuff and also the live stream came out like a couple of days ago, and it's all been really fun, but there's like a lot of glitches already, especially with like rent being paid. And also something I'm very concerned about is when you're building apartments, the wallpaper, because right now apparently it's super laggy to even try to place wallpaper, and I'm someone who swaps their wallpaper like all the time, so that's concerning. I'm curious if that's going to apply also, because I haven't really looked too much into it, but I'm curious if it also applies to like normal residential houses, if it's also going to be laggy when you're applying wallpaper, because I wouldn't be mad to have to like switch into normal residential to put all the wallpapers and everything, and then at the end switch it to the residential rental and then like assign the rooms. But I'm very excited, and I'm actually going to make a YouTube video going back through all my builds and assigning and changing them into actual units, and super excited for that. But yeah, the world is of course like super disappointing. The fact that it's just like 9 lots, which I understand, but I thought it was fine when they first said it was 9 lots, and then when you actually see how small it is, and when people are playing in the world, you're like, oh, that is actually not a lot of lots. I heard it's the same as like wedding years. Tartosa is apparently 9 lots, which I don't have wedding years. I want to get it at some point, but I'm gonna wait till it's extremely discounted because apparently it's a very broken pack. But I want it more for the world and like the Greek inspired stuff, and maybe for the wedding gameplay if I can get it to work. There's probably a couple mods that will like help get it to work anyway. Here we are working on the living room, actually dining room. We finished the living room. I love the wallpaper in there. I love the like wood paneling with the wallpaper over it, the like leaves. And then this is the dining room. I actually make the living / dining room a little bit smaller to make room for the bigger kitchen, because the kitchen does reflect the floor plan that I had. So it has like an island and everything, and the kitchen's pretty big and kind of boring. But I try to make it look nice. We'll see later, but I try to make it look nicer by just adding a lot of clutter. Pretty happy with like most of the furnishing in this building. Again, I didn't really do the like trying to make a story for every room, so they are all very like display like, but I think it works out in the end, and it's pretty. That's all that matters. But I'm definitely excited for the pack. I'm just going to talk about For Rent this entire time because I'm just excited for it. I'm excited for it to come out so we can actually like start playing with it, and then when I build units and stuff, I'll actually put a little bit more like thought and story into it. I use the Harry Coastal Kitchen stove, the double stove, or I guess it's actually a triple stove here. Love it. It's so cool. There's no like vent hood because I actually just put a window behind it, which I don't like. Now looking at it, I'm like, it looks okay, but we needed more light in that living space, and it was either gonna be the sink there or a window. So I decided to put put the oven there or the sink, but there's an oven there with a window behind it, which you would think would like make the like when you're cooking would make the like the window super messy, but it doesn't. When I lived in an apartment like in Manhattan, when I first moved to New York into an apartment, it had a like window right behind the stove, and it really never got too messy. And I didn't even have a range hood in that one, but this range hood you can see actually has vents. Not range hood, this oven you can tell has vents built into the oven that kind of counts as a range hood. I'm curious if you guys want to let me know in the comments if you guys prefer me when we're doing these speed builds for me to actually talk about the speed build, like if you do want me to mostly just talk about what's happening on screen, or if you're okay with me just like talking, like rambling about random stuff. I really enjoy rambling around random stuff, like talking about my life, a little bit about the build, a little bit about the Sims. Yeah, definitely let me know, because I sometimes when I watch speed builds almost treat it a little bit more like watching something with a podcast, like having something visual happening while you're listening to someone talking. And I think that's really fun, but I know that's not everyone's favorite way of listening and watching speed builds, so please let me know. I can even like slow it down a little bit more and make it a little bit more tutorial if you guys want it to. But I'm still a very much learning to build, so I don't know if I'm like in the place yet to like comfortably start teaching people how to be a better builder. Someday I will be there, but maybe not yet. Yeah, saying it for the third time. Let me know. Here I am starting all the cluttering, which to do it, I like move away the counter so it doesn't snap, and then just like kind of slide everything with the Alt button. It's so like you can also, I'm pretty sure you can still use those counters, but still have stuff on top of it. And also just like it's called like free placing, I believe. Love doing it. It's the best way to clutter up tables, everything. And there actually is a like red shelf that you can use to place it even better. But this is like a good way to do it if you don't have that red shelf. Now I am moving on to the upstairs, which is very much like there's 3 bedrooms and then 2 bathrooms. I do cut out one of the bathrooms, but this is going to be the primary bedroom, which something I do especially when I'm building with CC, because CC can be very overwhelming to build with. It's usually for rooms, especially like living rooms or bedrooms or even bathrooms. I tend to just use like 1 pack per room, or kind of think of it as 1 pack per room. So I look up the name of the pack. So this is like Octave. I'm pretty sure it's by Harry's Octave pack, and just use like all the pieces from that. They all match each other, which is great. And just use a bunch of pieces from that. And then if there's certain things I'm looking for, like a painting or a mirror or something, I'll like look into different packs. But usually I try to just keep it 1, because 1, they all match. They all look good. They're built to actually match each other, which can't say the Sims packs do the same thing. But I think it really helps make a room feel cohesive and not like neglectic. If you're going for that, do it. But for me, especially for like these bedrooms that are like more display, I do just tend to use one pack. And then, like I said, I'll go into different packs for paintings and like mirrors and more decorations like clutter, but it works really well. And also it helps me just like get through the room faster and not be super overwhelmed because, like I said before, CC, especially when you have a lot of it, can be very overwhelming. Moving on to the bathroom. I think the bathrooms in this apartment are so pretty. I do just like furnish one on camera and then I furnish the other one off camera. But don't worry, we're going to go look at it later when we do the walkthrough at the very end. So yeah, I think that tile, I don't know what it's from. I think it is like, actually I'm pretty sure it is a CC pack, but that like tile is so gorgeous. It's very like, I want to call it Mediterranean, but I could be wrong. But I do struggle on picking a mirror for this bathroom. I end up going with like, I think just like I want to say it's a square, just like a normal square mirror. Something I do love about CC mirrors is that they act like paintings where you can put them anywhere. I think EA really needs to, or like the Sims team really needs to jump on having mirrors be like free range where you can place them wherever, because that can be really annoying. But as you can see, like I try a lot of different mirrors. It's just like this is a weird like vanity, so it was a little tough to like find something. Oh, I used that one. That's from the Brutalist pack, and it's just like this one that hangs from the ceiling. And moving on, this is the second bedroom. It could be like a teen's bedroom. It's also like pretty fancy. It's actually very fancy. So I don't know if it's like a teen's bedroom or just like a second bedroom or maybe a very fancy teen. But yeah, if there was a bathroom attached to it, you'd probably just think it was another primary bedroom. But no, it's just like a second bedroom. And then there is also a toddler's bedroom in this building as well. I mean, in this unit, I guess you can call it. There's a toddler's, that tiny room, which I do go in near the end and add like all the toddler stuff, like a little toddler potty and like a high chair and everything. But yeah, you could definitely call that like the blue room and the other one like the more like dark brown room. So yeah, this is the blue and black room. And this is when I decide that I'm actually going to add another building next to this. So I end up moving it over. And then I'm like, okay, I'll do that later. That'll be a second part kind of thing. It actually already is done by the time I am editing this. But this is me starting the children's bedroom. I go with, this is like one of the packs I can highly recommend. It's called the Tiny Twavelas. Not saying the R for a reason. It's Twavelas, not Travelers. And it's like a little safari children's, like toddlers bedroom pack. And it's so cute. It has such cute things. I think it's a like Harry and Felix Andre collaboration pack. Super good. Great stuff. Everything goes together. Super gorgeous. Highly recommend, because if there's one thing, and I don't have like any of the like toddler like packs or kits or whatever. There's one thing I do think that like Sims needs more stuff for kids' rooms that are just like nice looking. A lot of them are very like kitschy, which I think does work a lot if you're going for that. But this is a very like elegant home, so I couldn't really go with that kitschy vibe. I also didn't want to go with like the sad beige child, but didn't want to do that. That's too sad. I want it to be fun and like stuff. And now we're on the backyard, which is like more of like a back patio because it is split into 2 levels. So there is a like top porch, and then you take the stairs to the back part. And I think it's really interesting. I think it's different, and it is like something that does happen in backyards in New York where they are split into multiple levels so people can have their like private. But also it is kind of weird because there is like that glass railing that looks into the lower level. But maybe like the family that lives there, like their like cousin or like their oldest child has the unit at the bottom, and they like own the whole building, and they're like buddies, and they like share spaces depending. And look at that. You see that, guys? You see the railing doesn't exist? That glitch is still a thing. I'm hoping in the patch that comes out Tuesday they fix it. But also from looking at early content, I think they just like removed that fix they were trying to do where it like clips in the walls, and now they just clip into the walls again, which honestly I think I prefer that more than just like no railing on one side. I'd rather it like clip through the wall or like the window that's next to it. But maybe if not, like they have time between the early access like project / game and also the actual release to maybe they create a solve. And I know it's a hard solve, so I can't blame the team to like try to figure out how to make that work, especially with all the like now that stairs can curve and everything. So I'm hoping they fix it in some way, even if it's clipping. I just don't want them to be vanishing anymore. And now we're on the second unit, which is on the first floor, which is very common. I keep saying, oh, it's very common, but it's very common in New York for actually like these like beautiful brownstones to have the like the main brownstone that like you have to take the stoop up to be one whole building, and then them renting out the very first floor. That's like the ground level. Sometimes they like don't, but a lot of time it's actually the front door is usually hidden underneath the stairs, but you can't do that in The Sims. At least I don't think you can do that in The Sims. But yeah, you can't do that in The Sims where you can hide the door underneath the stairs. But that's usually where it is, because there's usually an opening under the stairs and the door is there. So yeah, I just made the choice to just have the door line up with the windows on the top, on the floor above it. But yeah, this is a totally different, its own unit. And actually the original building I was basing this off of, that I got the floor plan from Zillow, actually also has a basement underneath this. But I just was like already overwhelmed with having to do so many floors already. It's not even that many floors. I just get overwhelmed so easily building in The Sims sometimes. But I didn't want to try to do the basement, especially because the basement was like weird and had to like, it had to have like access up. And actually what's really interesting is that the main floor plan had, the basement was only accessible to the main building. So there was an entire part of this like first floor room that like they didn't have access to. And it was just like, basically like the stairs had to go down 2 levels instead of just 1 to get to the basement from the second floor. So second floor had access to the basement, but the first floor did not have access to the basement, which makes sense if they're like using it as storage. And I thought about maybe doing that, but also like I kind of want to wait to build something more similar to that when we actually have like all the like water boilers, the AC, the electrical stuff that can then be like put down there. So it actually makes sense why you need like a whole utility basement and storage basement. Yeah, so just a lot of rambling, and I'm working on the dining room, which is actually quite large for a 1 bedroom, and you can see all the platforms, which look kind of weird if you go into like first person because the lighting breaks it up weirdly, but it looks cool in edit mode. And also I think it'd be cool to play into. I haven't actually play tested this. I don't play test my builds, and I think I really should, but I'm pretty sure this all works. But I don't really use platforms very often, so it was kind of fun to give it a try. And maybe I'll bring into builds in the future. We'll see. And here I am starting on the bedroom, which is a little boring. It's just like a bed in the corner and some furniture from, it's this pack called the Bastfic, which just has some like nice furniture pieces that are just like this like lighter, like very solid looking wood. But yeah, it's a pretty boring bedroom. And I cut out the bathroom, but now we're on the backyard, and this I tried to fit one of those like juice pong or like beer pong tables, ping pong tables, but it couldn't fit. So I ended up putting a like dartboard, and then also one of those like don't shake the llama games. And now we're getting near the end of this build, and let's jump into first person mode. All right, so here's the blue Brooklyn brownstone. And as you can see, there is a second one that will be in a different video. But we'll start on the first suite, which is the first floor suite or ground floor suite. Entering in, you can see the lighting's kind of weird, but we have a dining room, a living room, a little bookcase, and then the kitchen, all on a different platforms. Pretty basic bathroom with the toilet around the corner. A pretty plain bedroom. And then they do have their own backyard space, which has some games. And then if you go up the stoop that has the broken railing, we have this cute entryway and hallway, the living room and dining room. There's a beautiful fireplace. I love the lights, and I think the wallpaper is so cool. And then going through this pocket door, we have the kitchen, which has a bunch of clutter. Then upstairs, we have this hallway. Going straight back, we have the toddler's room, which is very green, very foresty. Next to the toddler's room is the second bedroom, which I like to call the blue room. I love the half-painted walls. They're very cool. This is the first bathroom. And then the primary bedroom. A like little closet alcove. And then through this door is the primary bathroom. And then going back into the kitchen, back here is the patio, or the outdoor space, where you have a sitting area up here. And then if you go down these stairs, you have this outdoor dining area with a grill. And that's the first brownstone. The second brownstone will be in a different video, but I had a lot of fun building it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in the next one.